Round 3 of the World Superbike Championship. Can anyone stop Troy Corser on his scalding path to victory? He's 4 times a winner already at this race circuit. He's on the left-hand side of your picture. Oh, a great start by Andrew Pitt on the left-hand side of the front row. Once again gets that power down so early. Can he keep it going right to the first turn?
He can. Pitt leads into turn 1.
So Andrew Pitt, finally, someone gets a job. Look at Walker. He almost got the Stalker start, but it was Arbe who edged him out, and Stalker immediately responds by trying to go underneath him. But Walker, be careful of that front tyre, please. He's not had much time on it. Max Neukirchner makes an understandably subdued start in about 8th place, but Andrew Pitt leads from Troy Corser. And the 3rd place man is the Winston Tenkate Honda of Chris Vermeulen. This could just develop into a pretty wicked race, but please nobody do anything too foolish on the first lap. Look at Walker! He goes underneath Norik Arbe into that uphill left-hander. Has he managed to hold it? Ooh, behind him, someone's almost unseated.
Yeah, he has made it stick because he's going to be on the inside for that. Oh, but Arbe swaps to the inside for the next left.
And I think he might have just taken him going into the next left. And they're all over the place at the moment. Corser's very keen to get away. No, Stalker's held on to it. Corser is very, very keen to get through, and I tell you who's going to be pleased by this, and that's number 77, Chris Vermeulen, as we watch the 2 Claffey Hondas together. Max Neukirchner is receiving a wealth of tactical, mental and physical advice from Pier Francesco.
Yeah, I must admit, Killy could always put a good eyesight on show there. And Neukirchner's just doing the same now. Has to stop listening to him.
And Stalker a solid 4th, and Carl Muggeridge in 6th place as they come cleaving it down the start straight. Now, what's going to happen between Suzuki and Yamaha? Pitt leads, Corser 2nd. It stays that way. Stalker an absolutely sizzling 4th ahead of Norik Arbe. And I think Muggeridge might be the next one up onto the bouncing red and yellow curbs. They go, Corser around the outside.
That is class. He's so much quicker than he went absolutely right round the outside, just going in. He got a good drag out of turn 1, got halfway past Pitt and outbraked him and just dropped it across the front of him.
So Pitt is back to 2nd place, and Vermeulen will be desperate to get through and try and keep some sort of a line on the new race leader.
Yep.
Well, he said he's been really confident in his handling and his tyres all the way through. Here's Norik Arbe again. Arbe is looking very threatening early on as that extravagant line of Troy Corsers opens the track up. But you see Vermeulen making a move there on Andrew Pitt.
And there goes, that's Neukirchner having a little look, I think.
And I think that might be Carl Muggeridge, who's struggling a little bit in the early stages of this race, having missed out on a fair bit of the first one. His teammate Chris Vermeulen trying to find a way past Andrew Pitt, number 88.
And Stalker seems to have settled down now, and he seems fairly relaxed there in 4th. And the tyre does seem to be working for him.
Stalker said that he really felt that he had the speed to deal with the 2 Japanese riders he was with in the early stages of race 1. But then as soon as he grabbed the chance to get through, he found he didn't really have the grip he thought he did, and he couldn't get away. Number 10, Fonzi Nieto, at least has one of the FP1s ahead of him, out of the frustrating position of being held up by the Spaniard. And they're streaming past us now. Norik Arbe with Carl Muggeridge for company, dropping into turn 1. And Muggeridge seems to be looking for a way through. Stalker ahead. So he's got Japanese in front and behind. The Australian filling in the sandwich at the moment for Carl Muggeridge. Vermeulen perhaps suffering a little frustration. Corser's done a 137.7 and it's 138.6 for Andrew Pitt, so already a second a lap slower just on that previous circuit. Stalker 138.3. He was actually 0.3 of a second quicker than Andrew Pitt. I'm not sure that Pitty isn't holding these 2 up slightly.
I would, yeah.
Oh, and look at that move. That's made him sit up and go wide, and Stalker almost fallen through.
I beg your pardon, Jack.
That was the knee. Almost went past as well. And Norik Arbe, I wonder if Arbe's just, if with having that harder compound front, if he's just sitting there thinking, well, let's not do anything silly in the early stages. Behind him, Muggeridge, Haga, Kagayama's 6th, is 8th, 9th is Killy, 10th Checker, 11th Neukirchner. 12th, Sebastian Jambert. 13th, Ben Bostrom. 14th, Jose Luis Cardozo. And in all the excitement, I'm a bit concerned about James Toseland. Toseland is in 23rd place. I can't explain why he should have had such a dire start, but Toseland behind Mauro Sanchini, ahead of Sergio Fuertes. The number 1 Xerox Ducati is in the position he started from on the grid, with a rather terrifying amount of work to do.
An impossible amount of work to do, Jack. We've just gone through the picture there. I mean, he's 9.5 seconds back in 3 laps, and that's what happens when you get caught. If you don't make the start, you get caught in, you know, a lot of fighting way down the field. There's people still trying just as hard to go 3 seconds lap slower. And he's off the track again.
He's off the track.
And
he was probably a collision with someone.
Yep.
Who's,
again, that's what happens. It's so easy to get caught in somebody else's accident.
Oh, and what's happened there? One of the FP1s goes down, and that might be what caught out it was. Toseland got involved in that.
That's it, and that's Toseland just running off the track there. And
number 71, Yukio Kageyama's also in bother, and there's all sorts going off here on track. When will the dust settle down? In the midst of it all, Chris Vermeulen has got past Andrew Pitt. He's into 2nd place. Stalker's still there in 4th. And it was Gary McCoy. It was the little flyweight 9.5 stone Aussie who went down. Oh, what a shame. That's the end of the attempt of the E6 engined FP1 to make progress. And incidentally, the number 24 bike was, of course, Gary McCoy. We didn't see who he tangled with.
Well, I was just going to say it was number 23, but we don't appear to have a 23.
And here's the stream of bikes. The yellow flag still out in the first turn where that clash took place. And Stalker was so disappointed about not being on the rostrum, but look at the way he's menacing Andrew Pitt at the moment. He would like a rostrum place.
Yeah, and he's obviously getting on well with the harder front tyre. Strangely, he's racing with somebody who's gone the other way and gone from the hard to the softer tyre in Andrew Pitt.
Okay, so Pitty's gone from C to B and Stalker from B to C.
Yeah.
Interesting. Ben Bostrom in 13th place after the panic induced by the first start. Well, he only reached about 13th place in the first race. I beg his pardon, 12th place. And James Toseland has to come into the pits to try and get his bike sorted, but surely that's the end of the game for James. He needs to use it as a test session, if anything else now, doesn't he?
I'd say it's a waste of time going out. I don't like the idea of people coming in and using it as a test session going in and out, because there's people out there, you know,
racing.
Using it as what it is, a race.
Andrew Pitt holding on comfortably at the moment ahead of the menacing figure of Walker in the PSG1 course, Kawasaki.
Yeah, he's a bit menacing, I think, for a little chap.
Yeah, and he is a little flyer.
Really little.
He emerged from the loo in his motorhome just now before going out for the second race, clad only in underpants and black socks, and entertainingly fit but slim little character.
Little tiny fella, yeah, he is.
But he's certainly clasped onto that Kawasaki, and he's sticking right in there behind Andrew Pitt. Now the lap times on that lap: 1:38.3 for Corsa, 1:38.2 for Vermeulen. Vermeulen said, if I can get away with Corsa, I might just be able to hang with him. Norik Abe versus Nori Haga. Ooh, it's nice to see the Japanese boys having a go at each other.
But these are really slow times compared to this stage of the first race. Early on, Corsa was able to put quite a few 36s in, then slipped to 37s and held 37s for virtually the whole race.
But guys have been saying all weekend that the deeper and hotter it gets into the afternoon,
the slower it gets, the less grip there is.
The less grip there is.
Yeah, they've been saying that, yeah.
And this seems to be proving the point.
Yep. Come on, Chris.
Look at the battles going on. This is Stalker versus Pitt. Behind them is Abe versus Haga. And then Muggeridge 7th, Keeley 8th, 9th Checker, 10th place Kageyama, 11th Jambert, 12th place for Ben Bostrom on the Mark Griffiths British-based Renegade Honda, 13th Cardozo, 14th Alfonsi, 15th Clementi, and at the moment I can't find any Snoekershers down in 20th. The battle for third place. The battle for third place is on between Chris Walker and Andrew Pitt. It's been well and truly joined. Stalker diving down into that final turn. And Pitt looking so cool and comfortable. And Giovanni Bousset is well and truly out. And boy, doesn't he look fed up. And the Bertocchi Kawasaki ZX-10 out of the race. Not out of the race, still very much in the lead. Troy Corser, his advantage though just 1.02 seconds. And again he was a tenth of a second slower than Vermeulen.
Quicker, yeah.
So Vermeulen is pushing Corser, pushing. And look at these three. Muggeridge on the second 10 Carter Honda is trying to force the issue with the two Yamahas. Oh, this is great. Scalding racing in scalding weather. Where else would you want to be right now but right here in Valencia? Through the right-hander, the first apex, the second one. This is where some tyres were lighting up during qualifying yesterday. Yeah, well, these guys aren't looking to light them up right now.
That's the same.
That was Killeen out of the saddle.
It was.
What are you saying about it?
Yeah, the same corner that Corsa was showboating on the last couple of laps of the first leg.
Your reference to Frankie showing Max how to do high side certainly was a good one, because that phenomenal high side that Frankie survived at Brands Hatch in the first race last year was a fairly accurate replay that Max did in race one.
A classic high side.
Oh, and that was again. You keep on telling us, and it's so true that it's hard to keep on the line on that left-hander as you go through it and then line up for the next one. Well, look at Nori Haga. He really was taking a peek up the inside to try and get round Norik Arbe then.
It was the danger with that is if you don't get cleanly inside the curb and the rider you're trying to get up the inside of, and they don't see you. The problem is you turn across the front of you and you can both quite easily go down. You've got to not have half a move, you've got to have a full go at it and show him you're there.
A response from Corsa on that lap. 2/10 quicker than Chris Vermeulen. And here we've got into this a scenario that we had in the first race where riders are faster on some sections than others, and Muggeridge seems to be able to close up until you hit this infield section, and then the two Yamahas ahead of him seem to just ease out a gap again.
Yeah, I'm being a bit cruel to Muggers here, but on his present form, on his recent form, you wouldn't want him just right behind you, would you?
No. That's what Chris Walker said yesterday. He said, "Oh, the biggest danger around here is if Muggers is just behind you." He said, "That's what you don't want."
No, he's been a bit unlucky. And it is easy. That was the widest line I've ever seen from anybody. That wasn't a good line. I don't know whether Corsa's trying hard here. That's the first time I've seen him offline all weekend in any session.
It's interesting. So here we come. Corsa is having to push rather hard, and if I say the word interesting again, can you just slap me and shut me up? Corsa leads Vermeulen, Pitt Walker. Another Muggers quote, incidentally, from earlier today was that the thing about those Ducatis, and the thing that might have confused Martinez in this drop down to the last turn during warm-up this morning when he had that terrible coming together with Laconi, was that you hear those Ducatis, they really thunder, you hear them early, and probably the lad thought he was coming up the inside and kind of sat up thinking, whoa, here's one of those Dukes coming past.
You can hear him,
and hit him on the outside.
A lot of the noise on the Ducatis doesn't actually come from the exhaust, it's a lot of induction roar. It's like almost a drumming sound, and you can hear them coming from miles behind you, even over the noise of your own engine. And at this point, I've got to say...
Talking about Ducatis, Tosland's one lap down in 26th place at the moment, incidentally.
No, it's going well then. Poor old James. I can't believe how he stayed so positive as what he has, with the problems he's got.
He has. And look at Walker. Walker is doing his best to make up for it, as I asked him to do between races. I said, you've been doing a great job. Now let's see you on the podium in race 2. And he's really pressing Andrew Pitt. That PSG1 Kawasaki Z10, they're doing a good job with that. He said all the team really lacks is a bit of money. It's got that wonderful casual air of Italian hippiedom about it, hasn't it?
It has.
Their garage in there.
Yeah, you're going. Oh,
Chris.
Yes.
Don't push too hard, my boy.
I think that he just had a little bit of a lock on the front end there. And had to just let the brake off and run a little bit wide.
As he said at the end, he also said, better 4th place and get the points than crash trying to get 3rd.
Of course, yeah.
And this is a huge mid-pack scrap going on with Alfonsi, Clementi, Steve Martin, Neukirchner. Neukirchner's got past Martin, and Vizziello's trying also to squeeze his way through. But back with Nori Haga on the Italia Yamaha R1, and these two guys just consistently getting a little bit away now. They're nailed together, but they've opened up a gap over Carl Mugridge. So this is the battle for fifth place. Arbe Haga.
And Walker still finding no way past Pitt.
Now, Vermeulen's now finding himself losing a couple of tenths a lap to Corsa. And I think Corsa, the difference between them is that silky smooth Suzuki seems to just conserve the tyres and allow him to carry on at a pretty steady pace right throughout the race.
Yeah, the Suzukis were the only two bikes able to run the softest of the front tyres and still maintain the pace to the end. To be honest, they didn't wear the tyre out at all.
Kagayama, however, is stuck down in 9th place. He's about 1.6 seconds behind Frankie Killy in 8th, and he's only 0.4 of a second ahead of the very impressive David Checker, the 25-year-old younger brother, just turned 25-year-old a few days ago, younger brother of Carlos Checker. The reigning, and he is ahead of his World Endurance teammate Sebastian Jambert, and once again, Stalkers tried to find a way past Andrew Pitt, and Pitt is just holding him out.
Yeah, that didn't work, that.
Oh, someone's gone down. That's number 21, and it's Michael Nickmans, the Belgian, who's boss of his own team, but would be well advised to find someone quicker and more competent to ride the bike, we think.
He wants to give himself a bit of a rocket.
Oh, look at Vermeulen, just right on the brink as he comes over the hilltop, and he really is keeping the pressure on. Look at those lads. That is such a dazzling downhill. Corsa 1:38.6, and again Vermeulen 1:38.8, so the gap goes to 1.9 seconds. Arbe less than 1/10 of a second ahead of Haga as they cross the line. Mugridge lap time 1:39.0, so he's still able to match the lap times of Haga and Arbe, but not consistently enough to stay right with them. Walker looked as if he dipped in a bit early then.
I think he nearly ran in the back of Pitt and had to just sit it up. He's all over the back of Pitt now, but it doesn't. Again, it's this circuit. There's so few places to pass, especially when you're going almost the same speed. If you're able to just go a little bit quicker than the person in front, there's no way through.
Troy Corsa in the lead. His teammate Yukio Kagayama not having a very spectacular time of it at the moment, though, struggling in the early 1:39s. So he's lapping a good half second slower than his team leader.
That Stalker passed Pitt now. We didn't actually see the move, but he's got through. Well
spotted, James. I just suddenly woke up to the fact that the old custard yellow with that blazing BSB Y2K helmet, RI helmet design, had got through, and he's pulled away almost instantly.
Yep. Actually, you see quite a lot of road riders with that helmet on. It's been quite a popular, quite a good seller for RI.
You know what you say about holding a tight line on that first right-hander? It doesn't seem to concern Christopher J. He just
no,
slings it in.
He doesn't actually.
And he also has a very wide entrance to that bottom corner, where he messed up his Super Pole lap. He said completely messed up his Super Pole lap. It was a real good one until he dropped into there, and he thought, that's been good so far, let's keep it that way. And I was sat up in the air there saying, hello, what are we doing here?
Walker's a man that only ever seems happy when he's battling with the bike.
When he's scrapping with people.
When he's at his best, he's always all over the bike and it's moving around.
That's an example of how Kagayama's suffering, because Killy is now, right, I do beg Kagayama's pardon, he's got past Killy into 8th place, and Ben Bostrom is also closing down on the two of them. Bostrom, he's lapping in the high 38s, whereas Killy's in trouble. He dipped over 140 on that last lap. We know he's in a lot of discomfort with that left knee, that injured left knee. Also, of course, coming back on a badly damaged collarbone after that enormous fall in Phillip Island. But once again, as ever, number 71 Kagayama really biting that rear brake. I think the word I was looking for was rear wheel when I said that Kagayama has had that Suzuki almost biting him back, and he's got the two Hondas now right behind him, and behind them David Checker, Sebastian Jambert and Neukirchner in 13th place. So although he looked relaxed and happy on the grid, I think Neukirchner must be paying the penalty for that early exit from race 1.
Yeah, you just don't have a crash like that and walk away with nothing. You know, you're bound to be bashed about, and for all his bravado, thumbs up on the line. And if you notice, the thumb he stuck up had a big bandage around it. So Yeah, he's obviously knocked about.
Perhaps a little psychological scarring as well. And Ben Bostrom, who's got fond memories of this circuit, he's had some brilliant finishes here. He was twice second to Troy Corser in 2001, and he's on 2 other occasions been on the rostrum.
And it's nice to see Ben Bostrom going well again.
It is. He's so relaxed and cool about being back, really enjoying just being here and back in World Supers. He did, of course, win his single AMA victory last year in the American National Championship. It was at Laguna Seca the weekend we were there with World Superbike.
Yeah.
Norrie Hager, you get a feeling there's a bit of pride at stake in this battle between Hager and... Oh, now here's Bostrom.
This is Bostrom got inside to kill it.
Killy's been forced out wide. Yeah. Bostrom goes underneath and almost gets Kageyama as well. That looked like Frankie was taking his navigational hint from Kageyama there as they've all slid out wide. Chris Walker has just set his fastest lap of the race, 1:38.0, fastest man on the track, and he's just at the moment 1.1 seconds behind the second place Chris Vermeulen. James Tosland is up to 22nd place, ahead of him Marco Bocciani, Mauro Sanchini and Fonzi Nieto.
You know you've had a bad race when you've moved up to 22nd.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, he has been in the pits for a while. Look at this. Look at the way that Walker is hunting down Chris Vermeulen. What is going on? The stalker's on it. He's living up to his nickname in no uncertain fashion. That's less than 1.1 seconds as they come through the final turn. And they go to howl past us now. The leader's gone past. There's Vermeulen, there's Walker. They cross the line. And Walker this time 1:38.5, but it's still quicker than by half a second than Vermeulen. The gap is down to 0.6.
And there's one man who does work well with a bit between his teeth, and it is Mr. Walker.
What a great ride.
This is why it's popular. God loves a trier, Jack.
Yes. That's why you were so popular, my boy. And incidentally, while we're talking about triers, can we just wish a very happy birthday today to Janet from Hambledon, up my way, Yorkshire way.
Her husband's just bumped into me in the paddock and says, if you don't mention it, I won't be allowed back in the house when I get home, so I'm supposed to be here.
So Janet, he's here safe and sound, and Chris Walker's there in third place, safe and sound, but looking for second. Troy Corser still leads. The other people we've got to thank are the fabulous girls in hospitality at Foggy Patronus. They've looked after us royally all weekend.
And look at this. Chris is all over him. Whatever he's done with the tyres has worked.
Oh, and Tony just pensively watching her boyfriend Chris Vermeulen in action.
But you know how good Vermeulen is at not letting anybody pass without being dangerous and just keeping going at the best pace he can with whatever happens to the bike.
Yeah, that's the crucial point.
Uncanny how he's able not to crash it when other people are falling by the wayside with the same problems as he's got.
What Walker's got to he's not got to fall into the same trap that Arbe did. Oh, that is just... I could watch Chris coming around that corner, Chris Vermeulen coming around that corner every day of my life.
But he actually said the first race, the front tyre was finished, the left-hand side of the rear tyre was that bad that he couldn't even turn into... I said it was backing into every left-hander. And I don't even know whether Vermeulen's gone for the same front and rear or not.
The gap was 0.3 of a second as they crossed the line then, because that 0.3 was how much quicker Chris Walker was than Chris Vermeulen on that lap. So we've had 14 laps out of 23. The battle's going on all down the field. Pitt is fourth, but he's only got a second advantage on Norrie Arbe. The battle between Arbe and Hager. Mugridge is now 2 seconds down on Norrie Hager in 7th. 8th, Kageyama.
And this is making me nervous. Vermeulen's just been out of the seat. Walker's all over the back of him, and you've got to wonder what's going to give here, because something has to do. Walker's just able to run some really, really wide lines going in, but still make the apex. That's good, that's confidence with the front end.
Now, this is where I think you'll discover that some of the people he's managed to sneak past through the infield were different ball games to Chris Vermeulen.
Yeah, we know how good Vermeulen is at just putting up with things, and there you see Vermeulen out the seat.
Yes, and they know it.
Yeah. It does look to me that as though Vermeulen has got tyre problems that, as yet, Walker doesn't seem to be suffering from.
By the way, one of the Foggy Patronus riggers who's in World Superbikes for the first, working in around World Superbikes for the first time this year. Used Chris, go! Used a wonderful expression when these guys must have buffalo's testicles. I hate to think what buffalo's testicles look like, but I get the meaning.
When I broke my pelvis, they were like large Victoria plums. I don't know what Bulls ones are like.
Here comes Walker. Oh, he's trying to, but those Tenkate Hondas are fast in a straight line, and of course they've got that full year's development behind them. They know what they're doing with the bike.
And Chris just is able to. You think he's missed the corner, but he still makes the apex, which makes him a lot quicker mid-corner, as you can see.
And then he's right up on the back wheel of the Honda as they come out.
But there's absolutely no way past. I mean, if you're a rider as good as Vermeulen, you'd be difficult to get past anyway. It's hard to see what Chris is going to do. It's going to have to be an outbreaking manoeuvre, I think.
You're right.
He'll still make the apex. Look, mid-corner quicker and actually comes out tighter.
Yeah. It's almost like motocross lines he uses sometimes when he gets into those wide sweepers, like the sort of the motocross lines the Americans favour.
Look how he drops it in quicker. He's wider, but he'll still be able to cut it back and make the late apex.
But I tell you what, he's giving a lift to that team today.
Well, this is good.
Because they knew they might be competitive when the weather's not so kind, as he was at Phillip Island. And Muggers might have gone.
He's down, been down.
Oh, Carl, I said the one thing you've got to do, boy, is stay on it and get some points. Well, he hasn't done that, so Muggeridge vacates 7th place. Kagayama will inherit it. And Bostrom is now hounding Kagayama. Bostrom through to 9th place ahead of Killy, and he's really stoking it up and trying to catch Kagayama. Tosland has gone to 21st place. He's past Porciani, who's come into the pits.
And Walker's got a problem in that the Honda's so quick.
Yeah.
And he's not able to get anywhere near, not near enough to make a pass going into turn 1, which would be a good opportunity for him. That's Muggeridge making his way back. Disappointing day for Muggers.
Oh, terrible day for Muggers, because he's going to stay nailed back on virtually no points at all. He's well down in this championship table.
I've got the feeling if Walker could actually get past Vermeulen, that he could actually get away. He does seem to be, and he's trying everywhere. I mean, he's trying in places you'd never even try. That's a little bit of frustration coming into it. And look what a tight line he can hold. And quite a steady look across to his left at Vermeulen there.
The yellow flags are out. That's nothing to do with Muggers. Okay.
Yeah, but there's no passing. That's one opportunity less.
Incidentally, Walker at present is 11th in the championship, 22 points, 1 point behind Giovanni Busai. And 5 points behind Noriyuki Haga, who of course is behind him in this race at the moment.
I think Vermeulen's made a change either to the suspension or to the tyres that hasn't worked.
He said he was going to make a change after race 1, didn't he? At the moment he's lapping in the low 39s, and he was definitely able to lap quicker than that during the second half of race 1. Of course, are still in the mid 38s, now has a lead of 4.7 seconds over this battle for second place.
Now, can Stalker get in the slipstream down the straight and be close enough going into turn 1?
Now he's a bit closer this time. And he's certainly getting the gas hit.
No, he didn't brake. You could see that Vermeulen just braked a little bit later.
Pit's gone through. Haga and Abe locked together. Kagayama goes through with Bostrom right behind him. Killy and Checker locked together in 9th and 10th places, and Jambert's there too.
That's an impossible place to pass, Jack, if that had worked. Now Chris has got to be careful he doesn't get so frustrated that he does something a bit rash and either takes himself or the pair of them down.
He's got to use his head here.
That Kawasaki is holding such a tight line. He drops it in later, which you'd think he'd push you off the track coming out, and it doesn't. It just seems to track around the corner. Certainly compared to Vermeulen's Honda. We don't know what tyres Vermeulen's got Honda, and I think he's got problems.
Vermeulen went for the same B compound front tyre because he said it's the only one that works with this bike. We simply can't risk another one. So what Chris was hoping was that in the latter stages of the race, the front tyre would last better in race 2 for him.
Yeah. Chris Walker, for his part, was hoping that he just had something that would last.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That he reckoned the harder compound would give him a better chance in the later stages. Yeah. Oh, and that was Vermeulen going way out wide in the right-hander and have to drag it back to catch the apex of turn 12. Vermeulen in second place, Walker third, ahead of them Troy Corser. And every time they hit the main straight, Stalker finds that Honda just pulls away from them. And look at the behind them. Hager has passed Pitt. Hager, Pitt and Arbe locked together as they pass us now. Hager is through into fourth place.
And that's
Andrew, where are they going? Where are the two of them going? Andrew gets forced out wide and Pitt's underneath him.
Thanks, teammate. They'll be sitting on separate tables for tea.
It's great. I bumped into an English fellow who's got one of those wonderful Nitro Norrie t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Nitro Norrie's there in fourth place now. And Norik Arbe will be looking to see if he can catch past both of these Italia Yamaha teammates. They're all on the same equipment, and all presumably both those teams have similar Yamaha Japan kits fitted to them.
Yeah, a lot of what the bike is like now is down to the team themselves. They do a lot of development themselves. Certainly you'll see different swing arms on both bikes, and they are separate teams essentially, just running the same make of bike. They will have the Yamaha race kit, but what they do after that is up to them.
Chris Walker just staying glued to the young Aussie's back wheel.
I tell you what, I'd like to see the PSG one teams. See that? But that's what's wearing the tyre, Jack.
But what he's saying to you, James, is he's having to race that way. It's the only way that the bike's going to go that fast.
Who am I to argue? But yeah, that's why he hasn't got a tyre left in the last stage of the race. But
that's why he's so exciting to watch.
Yeah, he's doing what he can, and
for a lad who looks as if he's just out of nappies, he's extraordinary when he's out there on a motorbike.
He is, and he does seem to be distinguish between when he's going to fall down and when he isn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, when you've got a race with problems and tyres going off, that is a distinct advantage.
Look at Walker trying to peak underneath. He goes in wide, tucks it into the apex, has a look underneath.
You just can't frighten Vermeulen. He just sticks to his guns, and he goes at a pace that he knows is the fastest he can go, and he lets you get on with it.
Oh, he went for underneath him.
Has it worked? No, it hasn't. Walker's really frustrated now.
But if he can keep a calm frustration, can you be frustrated and calm at the same time?
Me personally, no.
I'm just hoping that Chris can, because he said he like a little schoolboy crosser. He got overexcited the moment he hit the front in Phillip Island. Whop! He was off up the road. So I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah, I was worried at Phillip Island because it's impossible to go that much quicker than every single other person in a World Championship race and not be in some kind of danger. He was just going that much faster than everybody. He knew something had to go wrong. He's trying every which way now. It's Chris Walker, that is. We've got the two Chris's here.
Another person dismayed in Phillip Island was Gary McCoy, and he said he was so much quicker earlier on that he went past Corsa, and then when he found Corsa won the race, he said, it's just so impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
I just cannot wait to see the PSG one team's faces if he finishes either third or second.
If he can just give him a rostrum, that's going to be something great.
Territory for them.
Yeah. It is with the Kawasaki.
Yeah.
It wasn't last year with Frankie Killy, of course, and Ducati. 3 laps to go. And the battle's still being waged back here. Hager leads Pitt and Arbe. So, Pitt's gone straight on.
There's something wrong with Pitt's bike.
Something happened to Pitt into turn 1. And we from here can't see what.
He's still on the track. Whether he just outrated himself. It looked like he was going on purpose.
So Arbe moves into 5th place. Pitt is back to 6th. Kageyama will have benefited, and Kageyama now just 2/10 ahead of Ben Bostrom in 7th and 8th place. Come on. So the Ben Bostrom and the Renegade Koji Ducati Honda already headed for their best results so far of the season, but they could yet make it better.
We don't care about that because we've got here a back on form Chris Walker that quite possibly could finish second.
Okay.
And if he doesn't, it won't be like a trying.
It certainly won't be. Come on. He just doesn't make a mistake. He hasn't yet made a visible error.
No, he doesn't.
There was just that one moment where he got kicked out of the seat and kicked upright.
And even that didn't slow him down.
No. And look how wide he has to come there out of that right-hander, but he knows it's the only way, and he knows he's got the speed to stay ahead of Chris as he does it.
Yeah, he's phenomenally good round that left and into the last corner. From the power full on to the brakes full on. There's nobody better on that part of the track.
Tension there in the Winston 10 Karte camp as we come back on to the start and finish straight, and Chris then was just there was just such a gap as they came onto the early part of the straight. There was no way he was going to catch enough draft to try and outbrake at the end.
And they've only got one lap at the end of this lap, and it's again it's difficult.
Haga, Abe, Kageyama's through ahead of Pitt, and Bostrom's right with him. There's a three-way battle now going on for sixth place. The current leader though, the indestructible Troy Corser. Troy Corser leads, 5.5 second advantage at the moment over Chris Vermeulen and Chris Walker.
Look at that, Jack, he doesn't even use the whole track. These lads are using more track and sliding.
Yeah. And isn't it wonderful to watch? He was
he's
losing a bit more there.
track.
he was out in the grazing pastures there.
Yes, all right.
But he does seem to like that line. If you were going to tell him that the red and yellow curbs are a bit bumpy, he's going to go beyond them. I think Chris is thinking. Chris Walker is thinking.
A third's better than a Binnett.
Third's better than a Binnett, and I can't find a way through.
And I think what you'll find is that Stalker's tyre's getting a bit worn now, and he's finding it a little bit difficult to do what he did.
If Vermeulen were to get these 20 points and move to 90, I tell you what, with Kageyama down in 6th place, he'll make inroads in the championship.
Yep.
But I don't think... look at that man, Vermeulen. It's just extraordinary the way he just comes dancing around that top corner.
He just don't make a mistake. That's frustrating if you're behind him. Anybody in them amount of laps with that amount of pressure, with the problems he's got, would have definitely made a mistake. And all it takes is to run a foot off line, and Stalker would have him.
You can see that Haga's escaped a little from Abe for that fourth place battle. And then Kageyama and Bostrom ahead of Andrew Pitt now. Pitt goes through, isolated in 8th place. No, he's not. He's being caught by David Checker and Frankie Killy. But Kageyama versus Bostrom for 6th place is right on. No one's going to deprive this man of victory. He's now beginning his serial smoking on the final lap. These lads won't be doing it. They're doing it, but they're not doing it for fun. They're doing it because they're racing flat out. And Troy Corser having a whale of a time. He's going for his 5th outright victory here at Valencia. Since the year 2000, when World Superbikes first arrived in this corner of Spain, this fella has been winning. His 5th victory, and of course it will be his 5th victory out of 6 in this year's World Championship. A bit of pure broadcast. Look at that man, Francis Batter. It's not often you see him giving off that sort of sign. Obviously really enjoying the fact that he decided to concentrate once again on World Superbikes. Look at it. Troy Corser, accompanied once again by his great friend, the late Kirk McCarthy, heads for the finishing line on the Alstara Corona GSXR 1000. He takes the checkered flag and a double race victory here. 2nd place will go to Chris Vermeulen. 3rd place, a fantastic ride from Chris Walker. 4th place for Nitro Nori Haga. 5th place for Norik Abe, both on Yamaha. 6th place coming across the line now, and I think Ben Bostrom might have got it. Bostrom goes past us. He's just snatched the advantage from Kageyama. A great ride for the quiet Californian dude. And says, man, you finished on the rostrum. Well done.
Cracking ride from Walker, that.
Jambert 11th. Neukirchner bravely survives in 12th place. Steve Martin unluckily just edged out of the points in 17th on the FP1 Foggy Patrol. Talking about magnificent facilities. And